in and then.
Yeah, Facebook not live, but YouTube, the feed goes live for some reason a little earlier.
A little anxious.
12:27, so change your conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm on tour.
You've been up 24 hours already or more?
No, I took a nap.
Okay. Oh, good. Oh, yes, of course you did.
It's different now.
He slept a lot. You know you've been
Yeah,
sleeping
Norwood
on
can cop a nap anywhere.
I'm actually in a different space now because I was like, I maybe sleep for like 3 hours, wake up, and then I'm just like, fuck, I'm up. And then go take another nap for another like 3.5 or 4 hours. That's called sleep. But
Catch it
it
while you
doesn't
can.
feel like it.
Yeah.
We're live on
You
YouTube.
weren't hibernating enough last year to store up.
Yeah.
We are live.
We're live. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is this on? Is this mic on? Okay, just checking.
I just always laugh, Scott, with me and you, and we were
All
all
right.
of us were flying over to Eastern Europe over to Budapest, and Norwood just got in a chair and fell asleep immediately, and you and I were just kept looking at each other in our chairs, like couldn't fall asleep. We're like,
I
how's
know,
he
man.
doing?
This guy could sleep anywhere. You were the funniest thing, Norwood. That was hilarious.
No, the best is that we couldn't find him before the Think show, and he was behind the drum kit.
Right.
I mean, like,
I'm like, I found
you-
him, boys. I found him, boys.
yeah, because
Where's Waldo?
That was a great
Exactly.
trip, man. That was so fun, man. Budapest, that was
Yeah.
crazy cool.
Yeah.
Norwood, I couldn't believe it. You flew all the way there. Freaking, what, like 16 hours, 18 hours, whatever it took us to get there, played the show, turned around, got on a plane, flew back to go.
Yeah, me and Kitten.
Yeah, and you had a
Yeah.
casual at the Mint. I couldn't believe it. That's long.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
hey, I saw Kitten's still out with Elvis Costello.
No.
No, she's free right now. She's available.
She's
Yeah.
actually she's doing like a play, a musical.
Yeah, some music.
Oh yeah, I
Something.
saw that. I saw that. That's awesome. She's hardworking girl.
I
She's
think
awesome.
it's time.
So talented.
Let's do a show, guys. I'm
Let's
here.
go.
I'm not going to go away for a whole.
All right.
Awesome. Are we ready? We have a good one tonight. I think it's that time.
It's
Yep.
that
I think
time.
we're doing it.
Are we live? Are we live?
Are we live yet?
All right,
Where's
let's
Maddie?
start the show.
Maddie's outside.
Tell him to come in.
I know. No.
Here we
Hear
go.
that great voice, that great voice,
right
that great
now.
voice of Greg Bissonette.
Here we go.
The Rock and Talk Show, Beyond Backstage, with your hosts, Norwood Bishop, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss.
And welcome to the Rock and Talk Show. This is the bi-monthly show that dives deep into the entertainment industry, the business of it, the stories and culture around it, and everything in between. I am the Moss Man.
Awesome. So awesome.
Awesome.
He's so awesome, man.
Awesomeness. You're
He's got
awesome.
Awesomeness.
awesomeness all over.
Introduce my amazing co-hosts and friends. We've got the lovely Sheila Conlon. This is the first time we're all kind of back together again, all in a while. So it's exciting. Sheila Conlon. We have Scotty Page over here from Pink Floyd, Toto Supertramp. We've got Kenny Olson, Kid Rock, Twisted Brown Trucker Band, Experience Hendrix, Steven Perky Perkins, Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyros, and all the way in France, Norwood Fisher from Fishbone and Trulio Disgracious. Hey, Happy 77th show, maybe 78th. I'm not even sure.
Wow.
We're the 6 best friends we've ever had. We'll always be together. Little hangover.
Start with you, Norwood. You're freaking in France, and you just had Kiss open up for you.
That's
the
crazy.
weirdest thing that ever. Like, wait a minute. That is very unnerving to watch Kiss, knowing you got to follow them. That does nothing for the nerves. But we had a good show.
No lies told.
You know what though? You guys,
it was a good show, and we were anxious.
How big was
And
that
it was
crowd?
amazing. Hellfest is
How big was
the
that crowd?
festival. It was like amazing bands all day, like the heaviest, gnarliest, like
The
crunchiest
helliest.
metal.
Yeah.
How many,
Damn.
what was the audience? 100,000 or more?
Yeah, like that. It was like a city unto itself.
It was like
Amazing that
There's
picture.
metropolises that don't have as many people that were here today.
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's
You know what? Jerry Garcia said you only get that many people at a battlefield or a rock concert.
Yeah.
I'm happy it was a rock concert.
Yeah, me too.
Which-
Hey,
Yeah,
Norwood,
you guys,
Norwood.
so
Yeah.
Fishbone would be a perfect band like Kiss though, Norwood. You guys need to have action figures, like Fishbone action figures.
Yeah.
Little bobbleheads. I mean, that would be.
You know what?
I mean, look at all the Kiss collectible stuff.
I'm trying to live my life like an action figure
Yeah.
until I
Yeah.
hibernate.
Those massive inflatables that you see at the corner of a store. That's what we
Right.
call fish bones that come up and go down, go up and go down.
So
But
Norwood,
yeah, like-
what's your favorite thing that you've done over there in France so far? Was it
Well, really, like nothing can top like just watching Kiss, right? So today was like super duper epic as it gets, and we actually played in a castle, like in the
Right on.
courtyard of a castle. Like I should send pictures.
Oh, that's what's so great
I didn't
about
think about that part.
when you're touring Europe.
Yeah.
You know, the ground is what some of the stuff is built in the 1300s. It still looks and it's still the same.
Oh yeah.
It's the architecture holds and it doesn't change.
Yeah,
Year
and some of those
after year.
amphitheaters like Verona, where it's like
Ah.
there's a crazy cool one there in Verona. I remember it so well.
I'm going to be rehearsing there with Fabrizio. We have 3 days rehearsal in Verona, and we're doing a show with the Supersonic Blues Machine, and they want to rehearse in Italy. I said, well, that's a good. I said, absolutely. I'm down. And that's where they filmed Romeo and Juliet.
Mhm.
If you like the actual film, which I did when I was a kid. We saw it in high school or junior high.
Yeah.
The Zeffirelli, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, there's nothing like Italy. Italy is just crazy cool. I mean, the food and I mean the whole vibe is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
What city are you in now? Are you in Paris or where are you at, Norwood?
No, I don't know where the hell I am. I'm at Hellfest. I'll be in Paris tomorrow, and then we play
Paris.
Copenhagen, a gigantic festival there, and then we fly home on Sunday.
Nice.
Is Copenhagen?
when you
where do
get-
they
Oh
have-
wait, we
you
played
get
with
to Paris-
some 41. We played with some 41 last night it
they're-
was
they're
epic.
editing.
in Lille.
Norwood,
Yeah,
Oh, Lille, France. Lille's great.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
so Norwood, when you get to Paris, you got to do me a favor. Trust me, just pull up Screaming Jay Hawkins' "I Love Paris" on your phone
Oh,
and
yeah.
listen to Get to Paris.
You know what? I used to talk to Screaming Jay Hawkins on the phone. We played a show together, one of the Fishbone's early shows at UC Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was an amazing day because it was the first time I ever seen, like, it was like people got naked and did the Soul Train line or some like train, like holler like at this while Fishbone played, we opening for Screaming Jay Hawkins. It was the first time
too cool.
I took mushrooms.
Yeah.
And
That's
And
the end of the
we're
story.
yeah, I had a flashback.
Words alone
Did you
cannot
just-
tell the story from
take
here
what
on
you're
out.
talking about?
I took mushrooms.
Screaming Jay Hawkins
Do you know what?
on
You know
mushrooms.
what's great
was just
about
a-
music, and you think about Scott Page of all the greats that he's played with that we grew up on FM radio with, and same with me and you and the whole show. You know, getting Jackson Brown and getting Rob Krieger, getting musicians. You know, Purdy, which I was so sad to miss.
No.
But getting musicians we grew up with, and you getting a phone call with the Hawkins, Screaming Jay, people that changed our life, and all of a sudden we're hanging with them because we do the same thing they do, man. We like to bring a party, you know, we bring the music to the party, and that's it, you know.
That's it.
It's awesome.
And I'm like, I was funny because I'm like, Screaming Jay Hawkins was like one of the first that brought the theater
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
that made way for Kiss
Yep.
and George
Oh, yeah.
Clinton, right?
point.
Like
Oh yeah.
he brought it, like,
Big time.
you
He
know,
was
Yeah.
so,
Well,
Screaming Jay was the man. I
Snakes,
love
snakes and chickens and stuff.
yeah,
It's easy
his
top.
little skull. His little
No.
skull.
Yeah, man,
Right.
it's incredible.
yeah. Alice Cooper was
Yeah.
here today.
I mean,
Playing with
alligator
the
wine.
Hollywood Vampires.
oh, nice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I did see that they were playing. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Right.
what a day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Johnny
Wine.
Depp,
Alice
isn't it?
kissing.
Johnny?
Joe Perry and Glenn is Glenn's on drums. Glenn taught Matthew how, like when Matthew was 13, he did like a 2-week program at MI when he was 13 years old, and Glenn was his private drum teacher at the
Old
time.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glenn's
Glenn's
a good-
incredible.
Glenn's a good dude.
Yeah, Glenn can pull off most anything on that kit.
Yeah.
I want to
Hey,
know
and
how
Billy
Johnny
Idol
Depp.
played today.
Who?
Oh yeah.
Generation Sex, Sex Pistols, and Generation X combo.
Wow.
Who was in that lineup?
Huh?
Who was
Jonesy,
all in
right?
that lineup?
Yeah, Jonesy was on guitar.
So
Yeah.
then Billy, and then wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
Last show we had the legendary Bernard Purdy. It was
Yeah,
so
that was amazing.
Poor Perkins, man. We were so looking forward to this. I was like, I wanted to hear Perkins and him like go at it, right?
He was
Yeah, it
speaking
was-
the language that only Perkins could, like, you know.
Perkins.
I mean, that's
It
why
hurt. It really hurt. But you know
I
what?
felt so bad. That's what I was saying. It was like if you look at Scott got like Gilmore on the show, and I couldn't get reception. I would have been like, I mean, on my phone, I would have smashed my phone. I probably would have.
I was my heart was smashed, but I'm so happy. I know the show was wonderful, and also you had a great audience because everyone was so interested in what he had to say, and hopefully he'll come back. And you guys are already friends with him. I'll be the stranger, but that'll be great. You can help me break the ice because, you know, his drumming. You don't even realize all the stuff you've moved your hips to. It's just
yeah.
endless.
Yeah.
It's
And the
endless,
babies.
endless.
The babies
And the
that were
feel
made
is
to
so
it.
unique. He has such an incredible feel. I
Yeah.
mean, when you hear that guy, I mean, just listen. If ever you want to go on YouTube and call up where he discusses the Purdy Shuffle, where
Yeah,
he
man.
breaks it down and shows you. It's an incredible video, but the way the feel, it's like,
And you know what I
Melts your heart,
find
right?
with his drumming and the greats like Bruce Lee and it's Einstein, there's a grace, there's a confidence and a gracefulness to it, and it comes natural. It's not a pose. And the great people that changed the world in the direction of it, we had one of them on the show. So
Yeah.
that is just insane.
that was
That
cool.
was pretty awesome.
You know,
Thomas Claxton, who was our
Yeah.
musical guest and who actually lined Bernard Purdy up.
Yeah.
So
Good
thanks.
man.
yes, thank
We
you.
love Thomas.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and
Thomas.
Thomas's performance with that great song was quite moving and awesome too.
I know.
He's
and
a
you know
great,
what?
he's a great
After the-
musician, great
Yeah,
player, great
after the
singer.
show, I had him. I mean, because it really brought tears to my eyes. I had him send me the song because I think we're gonna play that song at my uncle's funeral.
Oh wow.
It was
my
so pretty, and I
God.
just like there was something about it, and I was like, wow, I go, could I play this, at the service? And he's
That's
like,
huge.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, tonight, you guys, we have another great show. As
Yep.
always, we have our dear friend, producer, bass player, just an all-around great guy. We have John Heintz joining us right now here in the Rock and Talk Show. John is the creator of the Big Old Nasty Get Down.
Woo!
Hey.
Oh yeah.
How's it going, everybody?
John, he is our fearless leader
I just
in the Big Old Nasty Get Down.
Drew Perkins yesterday or today when we were talking that Big Old Nasty Get Down is has a bit of an acronym to it.
You know, and it's accidental, believe it or not. We had no plans of that in advance. It was
I'm
one of
not so sure I believe that. John.
no.
You're sitting there with a big old nasty get down.
Yeah, it was actually hilarious. One of the people that I started the project with, JP Miller from Your Mama's Big Fat Booty Band, he called me in the middle of the night. He goes, "Man, you got to write out the acronym for the band." And I'm thinking, man, why did he call me at 2 a.m. for this? So I start writing it out, and sure enough, yeah, bong. And I'm, it's fitting, so we're not going to.
Well, I remember I used to sign an autograph, bang a gong or smoke a bong.
Right on.
Yeah. Up to you. So, where are you at? Are you in Los Angeles tonight?
Yeah, I'm home tonight.
Okay, cool.
In town for a few days and then back out.
So talk about it. Let's talk about
Yeah.
the Big Old Nasty Get Down.
What is it? How does it work? And
What
how
in-
did you figure that out?
What
All right.
Badass.
Well, there's a few things that inspired it. Like I came into the industry way late. I came in at 30, and so it was a really unexpected journey for me. And there was a lot of things that I experienced for the first time at, kind of as an adult. And one of the very first tours I went on, there was a super jam at the end of the night. It was at a festival in Colorado, and I was participating with a bunch of players from different bands and saw the chemistry that happens when things are just kind of in the moment and people are just going for it. And I saw the interaction with the crowd and how, everybody was feeding off one another, and thought, it'd be interesting to see if we could achieve something of this type of energy in a studio environment. If you created a situation where you have a bunch of players who may be familiar with one another, but never had the time or the personnel to kind of organize a gathering or a jam, it might be, really cool to get some people together. So I talked to a bunch of different people when I first started touring about putting something like this together. And a lot of people were all about it, but logistically it seemed impossible. It seemed, like it was going to be just an uphill battle trying to get everybody with touring schedules in one place at one time and to be able to do such a thing. And as time went on, we started. What's that?
No, keep going.
Oh,
I'm in an environment.
oh, right on. What's happening, Norwood? So yeah, it was.
But before you go any further, I love the idea of what you saw happen on stage and thought, let's bring it into a studio, because sometimes in the studio you get stale or sanitized, or the microscope and the microphone is the microscope. And
Sure.
musicians do the tighten up instead of the loosen down. It's hard to loosen up.
Yeah.
You put together these great sessions. I know you did many of them before I got involved. Norwood and a few of my friends were already kind of playing with you and making music. But what I loved was when I showed up, I didn't know the other players per se, except by listening to them. I never got to hang with them. And we just put the headphones on and kind of went with it. Very little talk, straight to the rock. And that takes, to do that once or twice, it can happen. But to do it over and over year after year, that's really quite an executive producer hat that you wear. And you play bass and you go on tour and you have great sounding records. But putting together that kind of like, it's going to be safe, and you make people trust each other. And I felt safe, and I'm sure you made the cats who showed up feel safe. How do you approach that delicate, chemistry ingredient mix up?
Well, thank you. A lot of it is just kind of picking up on who's going to vibe well together. Because I most of the time I know the players in advance, and I can kind of figure out who's going to really get along with one another on a musical level, and be able to just have the open-mindedness to let it be what it's going to be. That's one of the things that's important in the sessions, is to have pure creative freedom. I feel like when I'm bringing in players, I'm bringing them in for their creativity and their chops. It's not just their chops, not just bringing somebody in to play my ideas. It's really utilizing the talent in the room. And if you trust in the players that you're utilizing, there should be no reason that we don't walk away with something to be proud of, because everybody's got the mindfulness that we need this to be a song that we can put on a record at some point, so it doesn't turn into 45-minute jams nonstop. There is some structure to it, but so far as what it's going to be, beyond hoping that we're going to walk away with a couple songs, is really up in the air, and it's really picking up the vibe in the room and letting that carry and dictate what's going to happen. Because it's amazing what you can do with creativity and open-mindedness.
Well, the smart part, thinking about it, is knowing the players, right? Because if you can put people together, because sometimes you put a bass player and a drummer together and it's okay, even if they're good, it just doesn't gel. But if you can really start getting into their heads, right? And kind of what you're talking about is controlled spontaneity, right? You kind of set up the scene. I used to do a lot of live recording and worry about that problem, because I knew that as a player, that when it really sounded good to me, when my headphones were perfect or what was happening and the band was right, I played better. I always played better. But a lot of times when you go into these things, shitty headphones, you can't hear, like it gets a little kind of odd. So, but just noticing, if you start taking those little things, so I would go around, make sure the headphones and the monitor and the mixes were as good as I could make it before anybody got there, so that we could just jump right into it. Right.
Sure.
And that's the kind of thing you're talking about, is so you bring a kind of a vibe to these sessions. People must know that they're coming to this vibe, and
that's
what makes it work, right?
Like when I John, we were out in California, and we were the Think X, we were doing a show, and I slid by and did one with John with Fabrizio.
Yeah.
And it was cool because, like Perkins was saying, nobody knew each other that was there besides me and John. I knew everybody, but the people there besides Fabrizio, I didn't know anybody there, and we just kind of everybody left. No egos. Just everybody contribute and find a cool part that works with the next person solo when it's needed, but take time to groove with it and stuff. And I mean, everybody that's ever done it, which you've had so many amazing big name artists and just upcoming artists as well, and everybody's left away with a very pleasant experience with nothing great to say about it. So it's like, what I want to ask you is, how many songs do you think you've got in the catalog right now with over the years that you haven't even not like released, just like potential songs that you're sitting on?
There's about 200. Yeah, there's 200 actual songs in various forms of production, or completion, I should say. And then there's probably maybe 100 hours of jams, where it's like there's some brilliant stuff with Norwood and Chad Smith from a session that we did a while back.
And I bet. That's magic.
It's a 20-minute just odyssey of hearing everybody just go for it. And the musicianship's brilliant. The listening amongst the players is brilliant. it's really a pretty amazing thing. So I certainly don't mind when jams do occur. You know, we like to walk away with some songs, but jams are awesome, and there's definitely an audience for that type of thing, where it's this is what it would have been like if you were a fly on the wall in the room this day.
Right.
Well, don't you call that the unscripted jamming? Is that what you coined it?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of unscripted jamming, right?
Oh, it was 100% unscripted jamming that day. And it was that was one of my favorite things. That was an amazing day because shit just erupted and kept erupting. But the real, like, the coolest thing that happened that day was when it was over, putting up a metronome, because we played with no metronome.
Yeah.
It just because it just happened as jazz originated. And the wild thing was Chad's timing was in.
Oh, he's impeccable.
I'll never forget.
He-
No metronome. We put the metronome up. The fluctuation in time was so minimal, it was ridiculous.
No metronome. That's
He
crazy.
is- you know, one of those tracks on Blood Sugar Sex, I remember Chad that day. I saw him later back in the day, and he Richard played me a drum track they recorded for that album, and Chad went back and doubled the drum part right to the T. You don't even hear a flam of anything. Just went in back there and just like played right to this double track, and it was like the most mammoth sound. It was just 2 takes, 1 take, and then he played over it the second take. There was no punches, no nothing, and I was just like, yeah,
Just
Wow.
a
Well,
monster.
I was going to say, you guys talk about how, you know, all of it's gone so well and it was perfect. I mean, was there any session that went sideways or shit just didn't go down the right way?
Not really. I mean, there's been a couple situations over the years where I find out after the fact that there was some personality conflicts, and, you know, that's always a bummer, but it very, very rarely happens. And we're talking about, you know, probably 250 musicians from a couple hundred different bands that are part of it at this point. And for that many personalities to jive as well as they have over the years and only have a couple small instances, and that we're not talking about anything big, just, you know, just differences in creativity. And you know,
I was there for one of those, right?
yeah. Yep.
Now, do you walk in with do you have a sketch, or do you have like beats or anything already kind of figured out? Like, you know, you're going to do like a rock in A, or you're going to do, what do you bring in?
Well, with those type of situations, no, I let it all happen on the spot. No ideas in mind. No. Yeah.
So
just
everybody, it's really writing.
Everybody's
writing a song. It's a co-collab written song.
Exactly. But the way we used to do it, so the way I've been doing things lately has been a lot more remote building, where I'm taking either an isolated drum track and sending it out to a bass player or a keys player to make the first move, and then building it up player by player without anything necessarily in mind, just making the right decision with who's going to be the next person to go on it and trusting in the process. But the way we used to do it, the second generation of production kind of is when Perkins and Norwood came into the mix, where we were doing day sessions. Actually, Norwood was part of that, the first process as well, where originally it was, I would fly people in to a central location. We'd have a week-long house party and basically stay in the first one was a mansion in New Orleans that there was 35 of us from 17 bands that stayed at. The second one was a cabin in Asheville, North Carolina, where there was another probably 30 of us that were there. And so those sessions, we would write everything in those house parties and then bring it to the session the next day. And do the tracking that way. That's second, cool. And it's a lot of fun because you get a chance to really know everybody and just have that camaraderie and that the vibe is so strong because, you know, you're breaking bread together, you're waking up in the morning and creating, going to bed at night, I mean, it's just a nonstop thing. And it's also a lot of fun because the stories, you get a bunch of players that have been around for a minute. The
Sounds like
stories.
It sounds like a great reality show, right?
Yeah.
It has been, you know, borderline reality show esque with just the way it kind of all unfolds and plays out. But
photos from the studio.
yeah.
Wow.
Leo. Hey,
Leo.
it's Leo's birthday today. Yeah. Happy
Is it?
birthday
Happy
to
birthday,
Leo.
Leo.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Leo.
You leave
Yeah.
some bags on the backstage.
No, I brought them all.
You brought all with you?
Yeah.
Even the green
So
one?
John, how was I'm so bummed I didn't get to see you this time when you were in Detroit. But the good news is, you know, the studio, remember where I dropped you off at your sister's over the holidays?
Yeah.
The studio that is only a couple miles from your sister's house. So
Oh,
I just
nice.
realized that the other day when I was heading over there, but we missed each other by a few days. But how'd those sessions end up going?
The sessions were great. I've been working with this bassist from Detroit named Izzy Savitas. She's an
Amazing.
absolute virtuoso. She actually just got the presidential scholarship to Berkeley, so she'll be up there in the fall.
Got her at
She-
now.
she-
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's such a good kid. She's awesome.
Yeah, so talented. And she, you know, she's
Old soul.
yeah.
Kenny's
Her
Wi-Fi is not working, dude.
what's that?
Kenny's Wi-Fi is.
Oh,
Yeah, his Wi-Fi is on the skits.
You're also.
But, hey,
Is
John.
it acting up?
yeah.
Yeah.
But, hey, John,
Yeah.
please tell the story about the first Big Old Nasty Get Down show.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that show, we tried to do the first album in its entirety. And that's really when the band started kind of expanding because for some I don't know whose bright idea it was to try to bring 45 people together and rehearse 2.5 hours of music in 2 days.
Probably yours, no?
What's that?
Probably yours.
Yeah, probably. But it was crazy because we had, you know, George Clinton with us, Gary Scheider, Belita Woods, Danny Bedrosian, I think Mike Clip Payne. We had half of the touring P-Funk at that point with us.
Yep.
And then a bunch of players from Asheville, North Carolina. And it was amazing. I mean, part of what was amazing is there was no train wreck. It was trying to rehearse that much material in that amount of time and then hit the stage was definitely an undertaking, but we were able to pull it off and it was great. It did, however, have some downsides. The promoter wound up bouncing the check to us.
Yeah. Oh, God. Hey, when that happens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of those gigs.
Yeah. So
I hate that when that happens.
it was pretty wild. So here we were, like, you know, just feeling so great that we had pulled this off. And, you know, George is talking about, oh, we'll bring some of the Chili Peppers next time, or we'll bring Sly or whatever. And it went from that to like, holy shit, how am I gonna pay this guy? Like, I got to go up there and figure this out. And so that was our first rodeo, was like dealing with this monstrosity of a gig and then having that happen. And it wasn't just us. I mean, it was a bunch of different bands that took a hit, but we just didn't have anything to follow it up. So it was a pretty.
How did that end up? Did he ever make good on it, or did you have to come up with it, or what?
No, he never made good. And eventually we were able to get everything sorted, because it wasn't, you know, obviously it wasn't the player's fault. So we can't penalize anybody for that. It's not a typical band where we all share in the risk and share in the reward. If I don't get paid, my players still do. And that's just part of the business side of it. You just have to.
Being the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so do you, is this your business, or is this more like something that you do? So this is, you get up every day and you build bong product, right? And that's
Just building that bong,
bong product. And so how do you monetize it now? Because I can see right now, I see a whole set of monetization streams for this that you could do that would be insane. And because now you have a way to do it that you didn't have before. And that's again through all the NFT type of stuff, because this scarcity that you're creating, this is a very unique kind of situation where you're bringing certain people together, and there's ways, and you got a kind of a group of people that love that kind of stuff. So there's a way for people that can be part of that and access control, and ways that you could make that. It's like the Bong Club, right? It's all those people, and then those will be your biggest supporters. And I mean, I think you could generate a shitload of money.
Well, you know, as one of the players, he pays well for the session.
Yeah.
Good.
As far as back end, you know, I never even think of it. When you have 200 musicians, how do you sort that and transparency, etc. But you do pay front end very nicely. I appreciate that, because you love music, you love musicians, and you want them to be treated right. And that's, you know, when you got Leo from the Meters, you know, sitting next to Norwood from Fishbone, you want to make sure everyone gets paid, and that's very cool of you. And I always thought, you know, the machine that Scott's talking about, how do you make money on such a great artistic movement? It's got to be nearly impossible. But all the musicians have been very happy. And
that's
so
great.
Think about that. That's rare.
Yeah. So now you've got a mechanism that everybody can start getting paid from all this stuff that you're making, right? There's a whole nother way to think about this. I'm telling you, dude, you could clean up, because you're bringing these unique situations together. NFTs create scarcity. And inside that scarcity, you start mashing artworks with this music and stuff, creating these experiences, inviting people, token holders that can actually come to the events, that get to be the fly on the wall in the space. Like those are high-end token holders. They'll write a big check for that. Right?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
there's ways to fund the whole model that you could go crazy with this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it would be nice to have something to help make it be more sustainable, because it is a labor of love. I've found some sustainability through merchandising. We always have used visual artists that have their own fan bases and in a collector's market. So that's been very valuable with having that relationship between the music and the covers, or the
album covers.
The album covers, yeah.
What's cool is like your approach, so just doing it for all the right reasons and letting it just organically evolve how it is a beautiful thing too. And I think that's what keeps it so cool the way it is.
Yeah, it's just that this is the way that the musicians can really win too, right? Which is going to make it great. If I come do your thing and all of a sudden I'm selling out a whole collection and I'm getting a big check on it on top of it, that just keeps bringing more people to your thing, because you've set up a mechanism to generate revenue for them.
Sure.
Right? Cool.
And the NFTs are very cool. I've got a couple of them that haven't been launched yet that we did back when it was starting to become a thing. And I really like the idea of that being a transferable asset that continues to be able to generate some kind of revenue for the artists.
Secondary market. Yeah.
It's just so rare these days, having something that does protect and continue to pay as it moves along and changes hands. So there's a lot of appeal there. But you know, what I run into is, for the most part, it's just me running the shit. So that's
why the blockchain, that's why an NFT is so much easier, because you got a robot network over there handling all your transactions.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is like, that's where it gets good, right? So
yeah. So it's just a matter of finding a couple people that I can have in the back office that can help kind of focus on some of these different avenues that I haven't been able to fully explore yet. Because I just pick and choose the areas I feel like I can do well in, and I pursue that, and then I leave everything else kind of as an untapped potential, but you know, sometimes it comes fruition, sometimes I never get around to it. It's just, you know,
Dude,
one of
trust me,
those.
you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah,
We totally
yeah.
get it.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, John,
It's easy to
John,
talk
did
about all this stuff, right?
Did Gabe play on your track in Detroit with Izzy?
No, we haven't recorded yet together. I'm on one of his tracks with Enema Squad, but I haven't had him come in yet. I think I'll be back.
Norwood and I are both on a new record he did too. I was in that band back in the day.
Oh, very
Me
cool.
and Gabe and I started playing together when we were teenagers. We weren't even like
Nice.
21 when we started hitting together.
Oh, that's right.
Was that before
and then
COVID?
Norwood's known Gabe for forever too, and
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
it's a small world, but
Well, you know, like
Yeah,
also
I-
like, sorry, Kenny, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
that's it. Well, I do. I want to hear that stuff because I'd love to work on some of that stuff with you with Izzy too. That's it's exciting.
Absolutely.
Well, my question is, where do we find this? Where can people get these collections, hear it? Like, how do we tune in our listeners to find this fabulous music?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're on pretty much all the standard digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, let's see, Google Play. And
And
then
is the alumni, all the names, who the players are, is that connected to the song, so we know who we're jazzing with?
I think so. I have to go through and see how the metadata is all presented with that, because the stuff that's up there right now, somebody else uploaded when I had a couple people that were helping me. And so I don't know exactly what's in there as
well, it's pretty fun because you think you know somebody's personality on the instrument, and then you go, wait, they're not even on this song, and then you get the list. You're like, oh, okay, that's who's on it. But
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the alumni, so to speak. You know, it's incredible. It's massive. It's huge.
And you had one of my favorite musicians, Ellen. I don't know how do you spell her name. The 11-year-old bass player girl, Ellen Alavina.
Yeah.
She's
Ellen.
incredible.
Ellen's amazing.
We're just gonna call her Ellen.
Ellen, man, she is incredible. That little girl, such a beautiful personality too. She's just a breath of fresh air. Boy, she plays the shit out of that.
So, like, you think about it, you know, for a long time, you know, the music industry, obviously, it's been very, you know, modernized, and like we thought that a lot of these young players, a certain kind of music, had, like, you know, was dwindling, and now out of nowhere, there's just like these guitar players and drummers and bass players and these kids that are like 8 or 9 years old that are like, you know, playing
It's a COVID era silver lining.
Yes, it really is, because there are a lot of young players that are appearing just with incredible talents. And one of the things I've really enjoyed about working with some of the younger players is getting to experience that excitement for the first time with them.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not, I mean, like, just
back.
You had
What's
music
crazy
fever.
is someone told me, like, back, you know, we've all been blessed and got, you know, record deals when we were younger, when it was a whole different music industry. And in that era, to even like get a deal and go on tour and be part of that whole, you know, world, it's actually a smaller world than you think once you're part of it. But that's the point. What was I about to say? I just went brain dead.
And your wife,
It was actually perfect timing. It was an act
Good
of
timing.
God.
It's good
It
timing.
was an act of God saying,
I
enough.
timed that
Okay,
right.
it's time to move on.
No, but
One question to you, John.
sure.
You've had so many great players. You've executive produced so many sessions, you know. When did you like pinch yourself and say, I don't believe who's in the room right now? How the hell did this happen? I mean,
I feel
I
like
know it's probably happened a lot, but I mean, really, what's the one?
I mean, there was one that you were part of and Norwood was part of. It was one with Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind and Fire, and
I love Larry. That's my boy.
we had, I don't know, there's probably 30, 35 of us that were at the studio that day. I think
Wow.
Taylor Dane had shown up, and
Oh my God, Taylor. I
yeah.
remember.
yeah, it was just like, it was just a cast of so many different great players from different scenes and different backgrounds. And it was, yeah, that was an amazing one. And the Chad Smith one, where, you know, that's been cool. That was really a special day.
I think
yeah, they all are. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember what I was about to
I
say.
can say there were moments in almost any one that I've done with you that were completely magical. Like the Asheville sessions, like the material that came out of that was like I left going like, damn, I gave John some good bass lines. Like, I was like, fuck. Like, and the shit just happened. I didn't come in. It happened in the moment. And I was like, it's some magic erupted in every single session. You know, the other thing that I think like that I actually truly cherish is the fact that like when the moment I met you, John, like that was a good fucking day.
That really was.
Good to hear
really
that.
I'll never forget that day. That was
Yeah, because
world coming full circle.
No, because it was two people that basically said the same thing. You know, and it was Michael Clippane and Gary Scheider independently was like, oh, you need to meet this dude. Y'all think alike.
Yeah, that was.
And it was, and I don't remember which one. I remember that Gary Scheider introduced us, but it could have been Clip. I don't remember that. I just remember they both said about the same thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember what I was about to say though, is that back in the day, like it was only the statistics say that only were able to actually get their music out there. Is it breaking up again?
Yeah, you break it up.
You're done. We can't.
But here's what we need to do.
Do this with your beard.
I'll just show my boobs.
Just put this part.
But here's what we need to do now. John, tell us what's coming up. What is next for you on for a next Bong project?
Sure. So I am just finishing up an EP that was kind of an experimental thing that I started over the pandemic. I had taken a single isolated arranged drum track and I sent it around to my 15 favorite bassists and told everybody to make the first move on it. And everybody sent it back and it sounded nothing alike. And so I just built every single one of them up as their own song on the single drum track that came from a previous session.
Cool idea.
Very cool.
And so there's a full EP of this coming out. And at times it's wild because you'll listen from one song to the next and say, geez, that doesn't even sound like it's the same BP or BPM, but it literally is. I mean, it's just a matter of where the instruments are masking the drums. So each time somebody takes a pass on it, you're covering up a different element of the rhythm. So it's bringing out a different aspect of each single track that otherwise isn't there, and it creates an illusion.
I love that idea because
That's
what you
brilliant.
can do is take all those 15, then send them out again and have 15 more people build on top of it and have this giant group of people mash the same song. There's your NFT project.
Totally. So it's been a wild process because no song has the same two players on it. I put a different lineup on each song. We've got one that's coming up pretty soon with Norwood on bass and Larry from Primus and Mike Dillon and Jack. And it's on Jack Iron's drums from a session we did a while back at 606. And there's also a track that I've done with Perkins that doing the same build on where it's, you know, a few different songs that are going to happen off of it.
Wow. Well, that sounds super exciting. What we're
Thanks.
going to do right now is we're going to bring in our musical guest,
Awesome.
some new music talent. And so don't go away. Stay right here
Stay
because
right
we'll come
there.
back. But we're going to bring in a small town Texas girl with a big voice. She's a self-taught singer and musician. Please welcome Christina Carlson.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Christina.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on our show.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me on your
Yeah.
show. So honored.
Yeah, we
to
heard a
be
little bit of
here.
the sound check, so we're very excited about this one.
Oh, thank you all so much. I
Yep.
really appreciate it.
Where are you? What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Austin, Texas right now.
Right on.
So it's very hot and humid here. And yeah, it's a great city though, you know.
Austin's great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Microphone, a speaker. Dude? It's weird. I feel like this is coming out of this microphone, which is just weird. It's a weird. No. Not you.
Oh, okay. For your okay. I was like, wait.
I'm having a moment here.
No
It's-
worries.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So give us a little background into how you are a singer-songwriter and how you came to us. Yeah, give us a little background.
Sure. So I'm from a small town in South Texas called Harlingen, and that's deep south near the U.S.-Mexican border. And I grew up, hearing my dad play guitar to me when I was an infant, basically. So I've always had music around me since I was a very young, little girl. And so I think that's always had an influence, probably subconsciously, and why I am a musician today, perhaps. Let's see. I was very shy though growing up, so my parents didn't know I could sing until I was probably like in middle school, early high school days.
Wow.
Yeah, very shy, but I did grow up playing instruments. I played violin and piano and then took up the guitar later on in life, like when I was 20 years old. But I did go to music school. I went to Berklee College of Music right out of high school. I didn't end up graduating. It's kind of a long story. But
You know what? I think you shouldn't graduate from a music school. You go there, you gather ideas, you meet people, and you take off. You don't need
Right.
any piece of paper at a music
Aw.
school.
Yeah.
I
Thanks for
completely
saying
think
that.
You got to be
it's-
careful. It's
It's-
too much
Yeah.
education sometimes.
No,
That's
man.
right.
Yeah, being a musician.
I'm serious.
It's all about
Yeah.
your journey.
Your
Your
attention.
journey and
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Don't listen to them kids.
Yeah.
Don't listen. Get your diplomas. It's okay that you didn't, Christina.
Thank you.
You'll do fine. But
Thank you.
kids, none of us graduated high school.
Yes,
Stay in
amen.
school.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. I'm with my group now. I finally feel comfortable in life.
There you go.
what did
Perfect.
Jack Flack say in Orange County? I didn't go to college, and check me out. I'm kick ass.
That's right.
So, what kind of music did your parents play around the house?
So my dad played a lot of, let's see, Steely Dan, Dire Straits, Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, Keb Mo.
Wow.
Yeah, great artists.
Great
Great
answer.
Stuff with
artists.
chord
So-
changes.
Yes. Yes. So, a lot of funk and jazz and just really neat stuff. So I remember all of that, and I guess it's definitely had an influence on me. But I did I started songwriting when I was about, 20 years old, a few years after I left Berklee. And I never knew that I had this, I guess, ability or gift. And songs just started coming out of me and flowing. And they sounded okay. And then I, continued to get better and better at the craft. And then I started playing out at different open mics. And one thing led to another. And I ended up at the Sundance Film Festival one year in Park City. And that's where I met Ali. Shayesta,
Yeah.
I'm not butchering his name, but Derek was there. This was like probably 5 years ago or so. And I was, playing at the same event that Derek Day was playing at. And shortly after that, Ali reached out to me on social media and, asked if I would come play at NAMM. And so that's how Ali and I got hooked up.
Okay.
And and then I met Sheila through Ali just recently. And so That's
And
kind
we did a little
fun
project
there.
together. Yes, we did a
Yes.
little fun project on TV.
Yes. Yes.
You got Eric McFadden, who's a dear friend of all of ours, involved. How did that happen? How'd you connect with Eric?
So I wrote a song called Brasilia, and Ali really loved that one, and so he got a beautiful group of musicians together, and Eric was one of them. And Eric played lead guitar on the video Brasilia, and we filmed it at this place called Cascade Studios in LA, in Hollywood, yeah. And that's how I came to meet Eric. So
A short little.
I watched that the other day, and it was really, really good.
We're gonna show it right now.
thanks.
Sure. This is a little clip of that song.
Oh yeah, let's see a little.
Please let me know that you're real to me. Ba-bum. Oh, please. Oh, I really wanna see you in the morning lights. Oh, I really wanna see you. I wanna see you, wanna see you, wanna see you in the morning lights. Please come alive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So see brother Ben playing bass back there too.
Yes, and Thomas
And
Ross
Eric's getting all
Johansson.
Thomas, yeah,
in.
keys, yeah. Our crew, our
Yes.
peeps.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Exactly. I know.
Now,
it
how
was
long you been in Austin for?
on and off, probably 9 years, but I did spend some
Right.
time in California for a few years, and then a little bit on the East Coast for maybe, a couple summers, but I've mainly been in Austin, I guess.
Do you know any of the Blue October guys? Like
Not
Matt Nadowski?
personally.
They're-
Not personally.
They're good friends. Matt's got a great studio there too. Orb Studios.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I do
great
not know
people.
of it, but I would love to.
Tell us about the song you're going to sing for us now.
So this is more of a, kind of like a, jazzy influence as well. It's called Cinnamon, and it has some metaphorical, things weaved into it as well. But I wrote it probably 7 years ago, and it was kind of my idea of having a crush and what that would feel like, and just all these like kind of romantic, fun, girly feelings. But it's a cute song, and people
Well,
seem to like it. So
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Okay, guys, thanks. Cinnamon. I use you with coffee, at night with my tea. I use you with most things, even on me. The aroma is classic, I just can't deny. You've done it again, why even lie? The darkness of chocolate I like, but tonight you taste like cinnamon, hot but yet so sweet. You taste like cinnamon. You knock me off my feet, you heat me up, I can't come down. You have the power, I'm on the ground. I try to run but I can't hide. Everywhere I go, you're on my mind. Oh, cinnamon, ooh, da-da, yeah, cinnamon. I'm swirling in circles when you're not around. I need you to pick me up when I'm falling down. The options are endless on how to use you, like baking a cake or making parfait or helping my blood sugar too. Something wrong with the sound? I'm feeling like is something buzzing?
Sounds great.
Okay,
Sounds
sorry.
good.
There we go. I could hear some buzzing. I wasn't sure. Okay, sorry about that. Let me continue. You taste like cinnamon. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I got a little flustered. Here we go. You taste like cinnamon. Hot but yet so sweet. You taste like cinnamon. You knock me off my feet. You heat me up. I can't come down. You have the power. I'm on the ground. I try to run, but I cannot hide. Everywhere I go, you're on my mind. Oh, cinnamon. Ooh, doo, da, da. Yeah, cinnamon. Cinnamon laughs, cinnamon hugs. Think I've been stung by your cinnamon love. Cinnamon laughs, cinnamon hugs. Think I've been stung by your love, love. Da 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 da, da 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 da, yeah. Cinnamon, 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 love. Oh, cinnamon. Thank you, guys. Sorry, I'm like hearing a little bit of fuzziness, so I got kind
There was
of.
some weird little noise that got in there. Now it's
Ah,
stopped.
there it goes again.
There it is right there.
Yeah,
What
I'm
was
sorry.
that?
That
I
totally
heard
like
it.
cut up the
Wait
performance.
a
so-
minute. We got to talk to your boyfriend.
No,
right
but
now.
that was great.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What beautiful
no
symbolism
worries, no
in that
worries.
song.
No worries. It was
sounded
fine.
Yeah, really.
Fantastic.
I saw
Good.
Carlson Brown do that live in a concert once, so don't feel bad. Like
Oh, it was beautiful.
he loved this place and
Yeah,
it over.
the song was great. The lyrics, the symbolism in your performance. I mean, awesome.
Thank you so much. I
Yay.
really appreciate it, you guys.
No, it was good.
Thank you. It was a pleasure playing for you all, and I love that song, and I hope to play more. I'm trying to get some shows set up in Austin and LA, and get back into the swing of things. So this has been very encouraging to
Good.
be
So
on
tell me
here.
real quick. So your
Yes.
day. So you get up. Do you get up every day? Your thing is to write songs. Do you write songs all day? Do you? Well, how do you? What is your musical journey like? What do you do?
So right now I do write. I'm not writing every day. I haven't performed much since the pandemic, to be honest. I mean, I give music lessons to foster kids a few times a week. So I do music with
Right
that.
on.
And I'm also part of this nonprofit in Austin, and I'm in charge of like singing for our like charity events and things like that. But I haven't been, actively performing in a while. It's been a while, but people keep telling me, you need to get out there, and I say, I know, I got to do it. So
Good.
I just,
Well-
but I am playing, almost every day, and building up my my set list again, and I have all the material. I just need to get the venue and
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
I truly believe many blessings are coming your way from all the wonderful things you're already doing.
Oh, Thank
So-
you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I bet the kids love having lessons from you. You've
They
got such
do.
a great personality. I bet they just love learning from you.
Oh, they're amazing. I'm working with this one girl, and she said, "Can you teach me how to write a song?" And so I've been teaching her how to write a song, and
Wow.
it's been really rewarding. So, but
No,
I know, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I do drum circles, and it's fun to like reach out with people like never met me. I don't know them. They don't know anything about my background, but we connect with rhythm.
Right.
And it's deep. There's a real deep connection with a drum circle, and I know a teacher student, so to speak, or just the conversation between two musicians.
Exactly.
So and you sounded great. I really liked the way you were delicately dancing on the vocals. Very nice.
Thank you. I wish it hadn't gotten chopped up
Oh.
like that. That wasn't what I was expecting.
Oh, no,
Well,
don't
No,
even
what was
worry
great
about it.
was you just kept. What showed me you were a pro. Some people get freaked out, right, and then they can't. Like,
Right.
They don't know what to.
Yeah.
You just like went boom, boom, back right in. Nothing. Nobody even knows.
Oh gosh.
Awesome.
I'm
Good
glad.
job.
Thanks.
Great work.
Yeah, there was something weird. There was something weird there. So, but you did amazing.
Oh,
So,
I would have the same thing just to make sure because I heard it and how loud
yeah,
it
I
was
could
on
see
your
on your
end. It's
faces. I
like,
was like, wait a minute. Should I keep singing? Should I not? I don't know.
You did a good job.
you don't know whether everybody else is like going and it's like all staticky, you know. It's like
I know.
Right.
Well, listen, this is our time of our show.
That's why I
Yes.
pick drums. That's why I pick drums, because when it sounds noisy, that's the right thing.
Exactly.
that's why I pick guitar. I mean, it's feedback. I play the
know.
wrong note. I just say I'm just playing outside.
Oh my God. Well, listen, we want to thank everybody for being on the show.
Yes, thank you
you
all
know,
so much.
John
Thank you.
Heintz, it's
God,
so
thanks.
amazing to hear what you do, and it's so unique
Thank you.
and fantastic, and just a pleasure to have you on board. And of course, Christina, thanks for coming on. Now you got to get started right after this. You got to keep going.
Exactly. This is
Yes.
great. I really
Yes.
appreciate it, you guys. And hopefully I'll see you in
Okay.
LA.
We got to get you on
Well.
one of John's records.
Yeah.
John.
I would be honored. I would be so honored, you know.
Absolutely. We can
We should
connect
all
for
do some
sure.
stuff. We all got to make music together. So.
That would be
Exactly.
incredible.
Well, listen, you guys, stay tuned for our next show.
John, you're the record producer. We're all like, yes, send her through. John, bring her through.
Yes, please.
Exactly. So listen, everyone, thank you for joining. And again, we had two fabulous guests today. And stay tuned for our next show. We'll be on June 29th. And please like us on the Rock and Talk Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we will see you next time.
Don't go away.
Yeah.
See you next time on the Rock and Talk Show Beyond Backstage with your hosts Norwood Fisher, Kenny Olson, Scott Page, Stephen Perkins, Sheila Conlon, and David Moss. Executive producers Sheila Conlon and David Moss. Producer and director Eric Lloyd. Assistant producer and creative director Mark Armentano. Editor Graham Cooper. Theme music by ThinkX. Powered by JBL and AKG. Artist Relations TPI Films. Special thanks to From the Earth, ThinkX, The Conlon Company, and Mac. Check us out on YouTube/The Rock and Talk Show, Facebook and Instagram at The Rock and Talk Show.
And until our next show, everybody be good and be safe and don't do